Before we start this video, I do have a couple announcements. First, BladeBound will be at Gen Con this year. I myself will be jamming games of Daggerheart with Darrington Press and Envoy on Thursdays and Fridays, and AJ will be attending as a regular attendee. So if you plan on going to Gen Con, please be sure to say hi in the comments so that way we can say hi to you in real life. And secondly, but most importantly, Daggerheart has officially released. We recorded this video though before Daggerheart was released, so bear that in mind when you watch the video. And lastly, BladeBound has a lot of plans for Daggerheart in the months to come. We have a Let's Play coming up, a new podcast called Duality, along with our build guides. So be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned at the end to find out more details. So with that being said, let's jump into the campaign wrap-up. Welcome everyone back to BladeBound Saga. My name is Daniel, otherwise known as RiceKombo Online. I have been your GM for the majority of the time that the Scapegoats have been. Actually, I've been the GM the entire time.
No
one else has been the GM.
I was gonna ask.
Wait, who else did it? They stole my memories? Wow. Gaslighting here at the reunion. Cool.
Anyways,
You don't remember the Shriek one shot, guys? Come on.
yeah.
I do.
We're back
Chugsby
at the
said
table.
no.
We're back at the table, and at the time of this recording, and being released, Daggerheart has released. So congratulations, everyone, we made it. Even though in real time we are still waiting a couple more weeks.
We can do it, friends.
But we decided to do one final episode of Scapegoat's Plunder, just because we've been loving the engagement, especially in the community with the Discords and everything, and we just wanted to see and have another conversation on how the Scapegoats went. But before we get started, I'm gonna have everybody introduce themselves one final time. Who are you? Where are you from? Where do you hail? Channel wise.
What is happening?
It's going to be great.
Rachel, yeah, go ahead, go first.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I am the creator of and the GM for the Faint Divinities, a channel dedicated to Daggerheart, both playing and running it here on YouTube, also on Twitch. We have a Discord. Come play with us.
Woo! What's
Popcorn.
up? I am Seth. You can find me at Seth of All Trades on YouTube, where I just craft stuff and do voices.
Yeah. I'm AK of The Pocket Dimension. I finally
Merch,
remembered
t-shirt.
to rep some merch here. Over in our corner, over in our realm, we talk about all things neurospicy and dicey. And yeah, we also have a super cool Discord and love to play games, especially Daggerheart.
Daggerheart.
And last
Daggerheart.
but not least,
I am AJ. I am part of BladeBound Saga, where we focus on everything tabletop RGB. God.
RGB.
And also
Red, green,
Dreamlike.
blue.
TTRPG. Oh god. And right now we're waiting for that Daggerheart release, and we're gonna have a lot more content coming your way. Well, I guess
It
by
should
this
be
time
out
it's
now,
gonna all be
because
released.
we're doing it
We're
by
gonna have
the
so
time we
much
release.
release when this video comes out. It's gonna be
Movie
great.
magic.
Go check it out.
Yeah. So with
And
that being
definitely
said,
none of
go
us
ahead.
are in the cups tonight.
What? I don't know what
We
you're talking
certainly are not drinking anything because it's just a recap and we're all just having fun here as friends. Everyone take a long sip. But with that being said, let's run that intro video and our theme song to Scapegoat's Plunder with the voiceover done by Adam Curtis VO. Let's check that out now.
One more time.
Welcome to BladeBound Saga, the Scapegoat Plunder. Shipwrecked on an island. Who are the survivors? Grick, the powder monkey. Chugsby, the lookout. Delia, the tiny tank. And Kora, the personality hire. Will they withstand the island's deadly secrets? Or become its next victim?
And And welcome back, everyone. This is our wrap-up session. I have a handful of questions for you all, and I'm sure you all as players have questions for me as the GM. But we're going to start this off by kicking it all the way back to the first episode that was released on every single one of our channels, Session 0. My question to you all as players, some of you I've played with at the table, but the other two, Rachel and Seth, it's your first time with me as the GM. How did it feel jumping right into the game after connection questions in the midst of the Session 0?
Great.
Great. I've played so much tabletop that I don't think that it would be really impressive of a game to truly astound me at this point. But it was great. It felt very good to launch in. Felt very fun.
I think that having just done the connection questions was, I think diving right in felt right.
It felt great.
Just because it was kind of like all tumbling around in there, you know? It's ready to go.
I think you did a good job of it too, because I like games and campaigns that start in media res, like in the middle of things kind of situation, and you just immediately were like, here we go, there's a god, and I was like, great, I'm locked in, I'm ready. And you also like really get to know your party in the heat of battle and everything. I think characters come alive at table and everything. Felt great. You did great. You did very well.
See, you say that, but here's the thing. I didn't really get us going.
Yeah.
Seth
Seth
did
that.
Which does lead me to one question that I did have in regards to Session 0. Seth, what was going through your mind with Big Titan in the sky? Because that really, I mean, it paid off at the end, it really was out of nowhere for me. But I was totally down rolling with it.
What? I mean, it's been a minute, so it's hard to say beyond just it was the first thing that popped in my head. Probably. I'm sure there was some sort of thread that fed into that, but I'm blanking on what that might have been.
Daniel,
You and Seth are both in the same boat right now. We did not know that was his idea.
No.
We're sharing one brain cell.
I was just going to say, you know that 2 out of the 4 of us have channels dedicated to ADHD and neurospice, so asking us to remember things.
That's
like,
not fair.
Impulse Gremlin wins every time.
I will say, I love kaiju. I love large, big monsters and, you know, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there had to have been a nugget of that there that just led to, oh, yeah, there's a god of some kind.
So
something.
unveiling the original curtain, my notes originally was going to be like a whirlpool that would have been like this massive skill challenge. That I literally, as soon as you said that, I was like, nope. And I crossed it all out and started writing like stat blocks for a Titan on my journal.
Hey, you could have had the Titan be, I don't know, lost and just walking in circles.
Creating
Giant whirlpool.
Totally a thing.
Big old Titan toilet.
I think it was also Delia like positioning towards like actually wanting to fight the Titan.
Why
That
not?
I'm like,
Right. Just being like,
What else are we going to do with a Titan?
TPK.
Yeah. What would you have done if we had TPK'd our...
Great campaign, guys. We made it to Session 0. That would have been great.
yeah.
I think ultimately, if you all end up TPKing, it probably would have been one of those things where everyone would have still appeared on the island, but maybe instead of being, and this goes in the session.
Oh God, is this Lost now?
Is there smoke monster? Yeah. There's a
It might have
random
been one of
bunker.
those things where you are found on a beach,
Okay.
just happened to be alive. Borg definitely probably would not have made it to the original beach scene, because Borg was not. I did not intend for there to be a Borg until you created the Borg.
I did create a board.
And then told Borg to grab Kora and bring her on the dinghy.
This happened to me. I don't remember who Borg is at all. We keep talking about Borg every session, and I'm always like, Borg. I'm always
Borg
like,
is the
Borg.
giant that helps me load the cannons.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
a nah.
He was there.
That
He got created on the spot, and he was just there now.
What the fuck?
And,
I like that
Where
we're
was
playing
I?
Ring Around the Gaslighting at this point, and we're just
Yeah.
going to keep switching who is the subject of the rest of us. We're like, totally.
I think his twin Sai was lost.
Shut up. Oh, wait. There was it because the Titans. Maybe.
Yeah, the Titan lost to the ship. I was making a cyborg joke.
Yeah, I was.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh!
I was there with you.
I was like
I was there with you.
SAI. I was like, sigh.
No,
I was
sorry.
at Duck Dynasty. I'm sorry,
a
guys.
lot of mind fuckery, that one though.
Yeah.
I was there with you.
That's so good.
Bionic power.
Okay, so speaking of mindfuckery, especially since we're going into session 1 now here. Session 1 was the first official session in the campaign where you all shipwrecked on an island, as the theme song suggests.
Shipwreck.
And you fought the Marrowshanks. You ended up befriending the Marrowshanks, and then there was this mind mystery. Like people started falling asleep for no reason, and then we found a whole bunch of people, which I'll get to that next. But my question really was like, what were your initial impressions on, like, before everything really started to happen? What were you originally thinking might have been on the island? Like, each one of you, and you can take this all as you wish. What were your expectations of where this campaign was going to go?
I thought this was going to be one of those like disappearing islands that's really just the tide. You know, it's like it's there on the map. It's not there. It's there on the map. It's not there. You know, we were gonna have to like solve that mystery. I thought we were going into like a Bermuda Triangle kind of direction.
Hidden Isle.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is a little bit.
There's definitely some mystery there.
Yeah,
But it's more of a shroud than a sink. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more of a portal to another realm.
Also that.
Well, but that was we're going to have to get to that in later episodes because I really still don't understand exactly what was happening. I thought dinosaurs a little bit too because so much of Chult. I've played so much Chult. You know, D&D, like Dungeons & Dragons, Chult. Okay, great. Dinosaurs there, guys. I did a lot of actual D&D following the linear path through Adventurers League and stuff, and there's a whole Tomb of Annihilation where you go to Chult and you have the meat grinder where you don't survive. It killed many a person at my local game store. Sorry, guys.
Nerd. I love it so much.
Yup, I've been doing this. Yeah.
See, we say nerd, but the reality is, like, I wish I also did that.
Yeah, no, I say nerd with reverence, not with
Good
judgment.
time.
Yeah.
Well, and
So
I
much
think
fun.
It's a compliment in our circle.
it's
guys.
like that's the greatest thing I can say. Hot nerd at that. And what
doing
like
it.
I think I'm the baby of the table when it comes to like years put into TTRPGs. I'd never played a TTRPG before 2020. It was my pandemic hobby, you guys.
You're so good at
So
it.
I'm a
Yeah.
little bit.
Did you do
bubble.
acting or?
Oh, I was a
improv?
theater major.
There we go.
Your kid.
Oh, there you go.
So
You can always sniff them out,
That's what
can't you?
There you go.
it all comes out. Actually, I wasn't a
all
theater
makes
major.
sense now.
I was a drama major.
Of course. Yeah, I was a BFA.
I studied the page, not the stage. When people are like, "What's the diff?" But no, it was April. Picture it, April 2020. We needed something to do when we were all locked indoors, and all my friends live across the country and the world. So a few of us hopped on Zoom, and the rest is now called the Pocket Dimension.
That's cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
That's so cool. So you started doing video play.
Yeah,
That
I've
is
never.
so cool.
My first time. So we started in 2020. My first time playing in person. Well, we rented a castle on Airbnb to celebrate Matt's 50th and my 40th birthday. We called it Castle Birthday. Really, really original, you guys. And so 2 years in was the first time I ever got to play physically with other people. Yeah. So yeah, so when
love
you
hearing-
say all these things like adventures and people are always like throwing out these references and I'm like, I don't know what that means. So when I think like this, that's why.
But That's the wonderful thing about tabletop RPG, and something that I like about Daggerheart when we're talking about that is that I think my personal experience in Dungeons and Dragons has been very welcoming. It is not everybody's experience.
Yep.
And some of that is that a lot of people, nerds, we have like so much foundational knowledge about stuff, and some people don't want to open that door for other people. They want to be like, you don't know about Tomb of Annihilation.
What?
Yeah.
Where
What a
were you
loser.
when the Ring of Winter was stolen? You know, and it's just kind of bullshit. So that's fun. Daggerheart's fresh. You'll be there on the ground floor.
Fresh,
Everybody.
You know, it's completely brand new. So,
Good point.
Rachel, I did have one question for you because it really kind of spiraled into a little bit more of the campaign as I segue us back into conversation.
Squirrels, disco. What?
Yeah, squirrels, disco. This is how it happens when we have a bunch of neurospicy people
Disco
at the table.
squirrels? What?
Rachel, I have this question similar to Chugsby. Why star people? Because that became a very big theme as the campaign
I
continued.
need you to understand.
I just want to know like where that pulled from.
There's no way that there is any knowledge of where that came from. I don't know. I think it was the idea. So I am from a very small town where truly you cannot see more stars. I've never been in a place where you can see more stars at night. There are not lights. And so we were talking about approaching a tree line, and it was night in my understanding. And I think my only experience of approaching a tree line, because it was also in the middle of a forest where I grew up, that is always a canopy of trees and then stars above. That is what you see when you are in my hometown. So I think my brain just, when you asked,
rad.
what is it? I think my brain immediately pulled into the setting, and I was like, that's what's there. That's what's always there. It's stars, baby.
Star people.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, which I think makes sense. I think at that point in the campaign, I was still trying to discover like exactly what was this campaign going to look like. And the star people threw a wrench that I was like, I don't know what to do with it. And in all honesty, I don't think I knew what to do with it until maybe about session 4 when we actually went into the Star Realm, where I was like, okay, I think this is where this campaign's going. Which I think that's the beauty about Daggerheart is I can come into it with a general idea or thoughts. And I mean, all tabletop RPGs are kind of have the same thing, but Daggerheart being very agnostic kind of allows you or me as a GM to really take what the players give to create the story, which I don't think I've had as much of experience in other tabletop RPGs, primarily Dungeons and Dragons, since that's what I was previously the most comfortable with. So,
But you're the master at doing something about that, Daniel. Like that's a yes, Daggerheart. We can sit here all day and say the Daggerheart supports that well, and it does. Like I know that you've talked a little bit. Maybe you could share a little bit about even back to the Titan, like how easy Daggerheart facilitated you being like, oh, Titan Gray, let me throw something at him. And so, yes, that's in the bones of Daggerheart, but your ability to, one of my favorite GMs, Alejandro Tay, shout out, has called, said that, what's the word that he uses? That it's basically like a video game processor. Like whatever your players feed you is kind of like what you're spitting back out and showing them as a good GM. But your ability to like take what we do and then have like these kind of like callbacks to it, as well as like reacting in the moment to like, all right, great, let me throw him a baddie and have him fight them here in the middle of the sea. What is your process like for that?
man, so I come from a very like pretty improv heavy-ish background.
Okay.
So me and AJ went to the same school before, and we were part of a performing arts group, and we did a lot of a lot of stuff like that.
Nerd.
And improv was one of those things that I really just fell in love with. So I have that kind of in my wheelhouse in my background. I think at its core, I've also worked in jobs like as project manager, stuff like that. So it's like a lot of like, I need to make the call now because if I don't make the call, then nothing gets done kind of thing.
Yep.
So that has always been kind of a flexibility of mine. But even with like Dungeons and Dragons, like I've always acclaimed to like, I want to see what the character sees in their eyes. I think the issue with like some tabletop RPGs, especially ones that are a little bit more crunchy, is a lot of times when you ask that question to players, they look at their character sheet first, And to answer the question, Daggerheart, I feel like doesn't have that as a big inability, and almost like, and it very much encourages it. Like the quick start, if anybody's played Sablewood Messengers, which I am, at the time of this releasing, I have a bunch of learn to plays that are out on. Out in the Discord, that if you're interested in signing up to learn how to play Daggerheart, I'm part of the virtual launch party.
Oh, shameless plug.
Shameless plug, shameless. But the quick start guide very much has like that involved. Like you walk into the tavern, you ask, "What do you see to your players?" And it was, I think from there, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, the system supports the way that I want to play." So it's kind of that I've always enjoyed giving my players that agency, and then now we have a system that very much supports it in the first quick start adventure that they have.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that style, and these are just two things that just marry really well for me.
Yeah.
So,
Love that.
all right, let's jump to session 2. Session 2, as I readjust. Session 2 was a very interesting episode because I knew as soon as I started writing it that you would all generally be fairly surprised with how it started. This was where it started with just Grick in the middle of the forest, running with the voice of a fellow companion, Borg, that just says,
Who's Borg?
Grick, we gotta run, and then just starts running off. And as Grick, you see this like massive beast, and then then the rest of the episode kind of split into the different sides of the campaign. So then it went to Kora and Delia, then it went to Chugsby, and then it kind of went a little bit back and forth till we all eventually united. And then to the end, we solved the puzzle, which was interesting to say the least. I want to start first with like each individual perspective on like AJ. As soon as that encounter happened where you were by yourself, what was going through your mind, especially with Borg running away?
Well, I think at that point, like I feel like I knew it had to be a dream, like as a player, right? Because there was something weird going on. This is where all the people were disappearing in the forest, all that stuff. So I was like, something weird's happening. Grick has no idea. He sees Borg running, so he turns back, sees this giant thing. So the immediate thought is just start running. I mean, what else? What else is there to do? There's no one else around me. I don't have any help. I'm gonna run too. Yeah, see ya. And yeah, I don't know what I expected to happen really at that point. I was like, because I think in my head it's like I knew I'm not getting away from this thing. So if this is real, well, fuck. Like I'm just kind of gonna be screwed here for until something else happens. Yeah, I think I was the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had no idea that it was gonna be other characters and kind of all this different things going on. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna try to get away as fast as possible.
Yeah, which then I'll take a pause there and then I'll go to the next section. Seth, you arrived in a very different environment.
Yeah.
What was Chugsby and Shriek doing? Like, what was going through your mind as like Chugsby and Shriek were walking into a peaceful cave?
Going through the cave, I mean, yeah, the juxtaposition was definitely, I was like, okay, it definitely kept me on my toes of like, all right, is something gonna pop out, or I think as we went through the puzzle, it was kind of like the moment of like, and other things started to play out with everyone else. I was like, I Seth am not entirely sure how to solve this puzzle. And cutting back to me, I was like, I feel like it may not be that interesting to just watch me just kind of like try different things. So I was like, all right, Chugsby, like, I think that's where it was like, okay, what would Chugsby do here? Because he's struggling, because he has a strong connection to his captain. His captain's missing now, gone. He's devastated. This ship that he's wanted to be on his entire life is, in tatters, totally destroyed. So in that moment, it felt like, okay, I need to go find the people that I know are here somewhere and that I care about, and this can wait. It kind of felt like Chugsby was like, I can come back to this. That's why he left Shriek. He was like, all right, I got to go find my people because I can't do this on my own. Is kind of, I think, the moment that he had.
Which then jumps straight back into the action with Kora and Delia, who are the two that were actually together. Which, by the way, this was a roll of the dice, and you all happened to roll the way that it rolled.
Interesting. I wondered about that too.
Yeah, you all took rolls, and that's how it started in terms of who was with who.
Okay, interesting.
Or if there was anyone, and I think Kora and KK were the two that were the closest numbers, closest to.
Seth, thank you so much for taking that puzzle room. I would have cried.
Yeah, if I had been put in the puzzle room first, it would have been a very different episode.
I would have tried to fight it.
Look, I love puzzles, but I was like, yeah, I just really wanted to be with the crew.
It was so cute. A big cutie.
But AK and Rachel, I'm gonna change this question a little bit. You were the last to be exposed to like panning on your group. What did you think was happening with everyone being separate and now you two being together? Like, did you catch on at all at what the ruse was happening between?
I thought you were high, man. I was like, he has gone on a crazy adventure and just done this wild thing. I don't know. It was giving dream sequence is what it was.
I was fully convinced that we were
right
all
now.
dreaming. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
same.
it, to me, kind of like lined up. Like, I feel like if any of our characters had been dreaming, that is the configuration that they would have come up with. Like, it would have been Delia and Kora getting into mischief together. It would have been Chugsby off in a cave. It would have been Grick up against something really wild, something really wild. So the dice tell the story, man, and they told it beautifully in that configuration of each of the characters. But I was waiting for you to be like, and then you all wake up. Even through the end of the session, I was still like...
End of campaign, I was waiting. I was like, here it comes.
I cannot tell you how many times I had to sit with myself on like, do I wake them up now? Do I wake them up now? And then every single time I was like, it's not lost. It's not lost. It's not lost.
Well, I was lost.
We were all lost on
Yeah.
on an island.
And then we found each other.
Shipwrecked.
Great.
So, needless to say, I assume that that Grick taking 6 points of health was a true
I
reaction.
knew immediately what you were doing at that point. As soon as that happened, I was like, now listen here.
Yeah, that moment.
Turns out we all have an aligned enemy on this island, and it's Daniel.
If I was not, I would not be the GM.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I had an extra health point because that would have killed me.
That would
That would have killed anyone else.
I love that
I
stuff,
took an
you
extra
guys.
health somewhere, and I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, that's funny.
So much fun. I wanted it to like, not that I ever want to kill my friends. I'm not that kind of a player at table. But if you will give me an excuse that I don't know what I'm doing, I will have a good little laugh about it. You know, it's a fun time. Yeah.
It would have been great. It would have been fantastic if that happened.
Yeah.
Well,
I would just play Borg at that point. I had a makeup character. It'd been fine.
Yeah, was this the moment that we lost Borg?
I think so.
Yes, Borg kept running. Where he is now,
He's gone.
we don't know.
So I have a headcanon on where Borg is.
He's the old man.
No, he's not. No, that would have been that. You know, that sounds like honestly a better idea, but it was not. The old man was a totally different story that we were really close to unraveling, but we just didn't. Borg is still running somewhere on the island and is like in the center of the island surviving on his own.
He's PETA in the Hunger Games. He's just like in bark right now. He's waiting for Grick.
He is truly waiting for you all somewhere on the island.
We've got a...
So long, we're in the skies.
One of my favorite parts of that session and that encounter, though, Daniel, was how like each of us kind of like popped out of the like awareness at different times, because that always creates like such a delicious, you know, play between characters when it's like some of them get what's going on and others don't, and so then you're fighting each other. So it's a beautiful way to build tension without actual PvP, even though we maybe had a little bit of that between Kora and Grick, but you know.
You as players picking up on that is something that I was able to relish as a GM. Because sometimes it is really hard to say, like, your character knows this, and it is one of those things where the reality is, like, as a GM, I am taking agency away from you as a player, but you being able to just be like, I love that for the story, let's go with it. And being able to yes and a lot of the times the thing is, like, the GM needs to yes and the players, but when the players are able to yes and the GM, it really becomes, like, a very, like, nice medley together.
Yeah. Like, I remember Delia was so frustrated with Kora, but, like, Allison was never frustrated with Rachel, right? It just created this
Same
cool
thing.
little...
Same
yeah,
thing.
because you were
Kora
like, why
is
are you not
frustrated
hitting
at
us?
Delia. It's like, this
Hit
thing
it.
is going to murder us.
Hit
You
it.
have stopped. You are the strong one. Please.
Yeah. I love
If
that.
I have to do it, I'll do it myself.
I'm a strong, empowered bard. I don't need no guardian.
I have a question for Daniel about the puzzle specifically, because this is an
Yeah, let's go to
area
that.
I struggle with, and that I would bet a lot of GMs struggle with. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Puzzles are difficult. Players, they're difficult for you. They are difficult for the GM because you know all the secrets. So you're like, this is obvious. Like, you.
Yeah.
How do you build puzzles, and do you ever have ripcords? Did you have a ripcord for that puzzle if we just weren't getting there? Do you know what I mean?
If we weren't getting it. As we weren't getting it.
Yeah, so at what point were you like, these guys suck, we gotta get out?
Yeah, I think what would have... So the natural ripcord that I typically have is if the puzzle isn't working. And this is just the normal... And I guess this is a GM tip. I typically always have, like, this general backup of now something... There's a consequence that now it's a skill challenge and you have to fight the consequence of the puzzle. I think that's my natural ripcord. Which I don't think you were close, because the thing that as soon as you figured out how to, like, hold on, like, how the tapestries interacted, you actually were not doing too bad. There was really only, like, one or two tapestries where you're like, oh, that's not really how it goes. But for the most part, you were all interacting with each other and, like, testing and trying these things out. That I didn't ever think it was going to get that far. Because I think there was one time where, because it's dusk to bloom, so you needed to create dusk, which is making sure that it goes daytime to nighttime, and then it has to end at nighttime to make dusk, to have that kind of transition with, or you have to go from moon to the last scene being moon sun. You can't go from sun to moon sun because that would just keep dawn. And I think that was, like, one of the hiccups. It's like, oh, you're so close. Which I think one person ended up rolling, and it's like, you notice that it does say dusk to bloom. Which is when I think Seth was the one who figured it out. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
That's what ended up happening. My process for puzzles, though, I think it really just goes like, what do I want in lore, and how do I make this make sense? Because I knew dusk to bloom was what I started with. It's like, how do I make this a puzzle? And then it came up to, like, me just thinking about, like, either puzzle games that I've played before. Poems, riddles. I try to stay away from riddles now because I learned that my riddles are only good for players that take notes.
Yeah.
Because they're
I
very
love
lore
riddles.
heavy. And I really do like riddles.
I hate puzzles.
But I also didn't
love
find, like,
riddles.
I didn't think there was enough, like, lore that we established, being that was episode 2, to really, like, quantify some of the riddles that I would have done. Because I don't like pulling a random riddle from online. I feel very lazy doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my process.
I do think one other trick with puzzles, just in my experience GMing, is, hey, if the players aren't getting this, that doesn't necessarily mean that their characters wouldn't. So, give me some sort of intelligence save or a check of some kind, right? And I can feed you that information or give you that clue. The problem is when they fail those checks.
Yeah.
Because I've run into that too, where it's like, okay, I've tried 3 to 4 different intelligence checks, and they've all failed. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, where do I go now?
Everyone make a knowledge check, and then everyone fails. Like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah.
No, and
It's like,
I like though what you said about like it becomes a skill challenge and there can be natural consequences
Yeah.
of a skill challenge, which I think Daggerheart, like there's a lot of interesting ways that we can use and lose resources. So if it came to it, it's like we could start gaining stress, we could start losing hope, like
Right.
our next downtime activities could maybe even function a little bit differently. You know, and things like that as like those consequences.
Right. Like, hey, it takes you long. You eventually figure it out, but you take stress because
Yep.
puzzle was
Yeah.
tricky.
That's very good. I really like
like
that
that a lot,
AK.
yeah.
Like because this is just admittedly one of the places where I think a lot of us struggle with. I'm a big fan of like visual tools sometimes because it's
Yeah.
hard. I'm also not really an auditory learner, and so
Yeah.
that can be very difficult for me.
Yeah.
So I have to
Same.
really try to figure
Are we the
out.
same person?
Yeah,
I'm beginning
yeah.
to like.
Sometimes I
Bad.
feel people.
Yeah.
I think we might be. We're the
It's
East
true.
and West Coast versions of each other.
Just like looking at each other through a mirror, like I feel like, yeah, like, yeah.
We've got
yeah.
Psy and Borg.
I'm just like dibs on Psy.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Sandwiches.
Naturally.
Oh,
Sai.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
do.
go
Oh,
ahead.
you go.
I was just gonna say this is what happens. We're playing Daggerheart with a bunch of GMs, so like, of course, we're thinking about this both as players and as like, ooh, what am I gonna steal from my tables?
Yeah.
Games for
100%.
me are homework times. I'm study session, baby. I'm taking notes. I'm documenting and stuff. And that's one thing that Daggerheart was in most ways, because I love collaborative stuff. I like to think on the fly and stuff and adapt a game to whatever people say. But one place that I initially was struggling a little bit with was the concept of, which is already part of any tabletop. If you want your players to be able to progress past a thing, you cannot have it solely rely on a skill check. Because if everybody's played Baldur's Gate and you walk into that area and you hear the perception check roll and then nobody gets it and you're like, well, fuck, I'm never going to get that
I
treasure
missed
or
it.
see that door.
I missed that trap.
That story
Finally
is
did I.
done to
600
me.
hours I play.
And for a GM, that means, well, this page,
Yep.
throw it all out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna bring us back to time a little bit here. I'm gonna go through just one single question for session 3, because session 3, we started the session with this really funny like, oh, which way to go, left or right? Joke's on you, it's the same path. Then it went to a big kind of tree fight, where basically we found this portal at the end. I guess as the session was going, did anybody have any thoughts about what they were gonna find when they cut open the tree?
Point of order. We fought a tree.
We did fight a tree.
You guys, I was moving to Los Angeles in the middle of this game.
That's
You
right.
were.
So,
You
side
were.
note, outside
In the middle
game,
of fires.
this
as well.
And Ellie
recording
was on
took
fire to
like
boot.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took
Yeah.
We started in October
Yeah.
yeah.
and ended in March.
February,
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
There were like 3 sessions in the middle where my background was always different. And you can hear like in one of them, my boyfriend and our friends are packing a U-Haul downstairs and I'm upstairs rolling dice and having shenanigans time.
Hi guys.
That's ultimate power move.
Felt
right
like
there.
a dick. Felt very Cora, you know?
Yeah, it was very Kora of you.
Channeled it for the session.
Yep, love that. I didn't know if this was going to be the clap back, the call back to the slap back to Star People. Like I didn't know if we were going to like sever the tree and all of a sudden this like whole celestial realm. That I was always on the hunt for the Star People after our
Yeah,
initial,
right.
you know, and they were
I
they
totally
were
forgot about Star People.
yeah they
Forgot
were
they
like
were even a thing.
oh yeah they were. I mean, for me, I was like are they celestials? Are they like forest sprite fae? Like what are they? So when we got to the tree, I was pretty convinced that was where we were gonna have our full circle moment of whatever was in the tree line from that first night.
You weren't far off.
Yeah, weren't far off because in
Nailed
session
it.
4, let's jump into that one. You jump into a space and start drowning, kind of.
Or swimming, if you're a pivot.
And then mechanically you all leveled up, which was woohoo, level 5.
Yeah.
Jumping into the next tier of Daggerheart. But then you all had these like transformations. You met this old man, this frail individual star person that creeped some of you out.
Who we now know was Borg the whole time.
Which apparently, yes. See, now my headcanon is that like the old man was the collection of Borgs. Like just started like pulling images from
The
like,
multiverse of Borg
lost memory.
timelines.
Yeah. But then you were like chased by like memory spirits, and then eventually entered into and met Aeon for the first time. My question to kind of kick everyone off is kind of somewhat pseudo related. What did you think happened in this realm? Like, what was your like headcanon going in to like what happened to this place and like what this place actually is? Like, anybody have any thoughts about that?
I'll tell you this. I feel like I was in such a whirlwind of every place we went to. Like, we started in a ship, then on an island. Now we're now we're in this puzzle room. Oh, now we're in a cave. We went through a tree.
Ancient
now we're
tree.
in space. I as a player and Grick were just like, where the fuck did we end up? How did we get here? What is happening?
Because through the tree,
dude.
through a water into what I think is Mars. I was there.
Dude. I was just like, I have no idea at this point where we're gonna end up. I'm here. I'm already here.
Yeah, for me, it was still felt. It was very, very dreamy, which I felt was inspired by the Star people because I don't know. I think of stars, dreams. So it that tracked, but I was like, oh yeah, this is just part of this crazy. Not that I necessarily thought we were in a dream, but it was like this. It's very dreamlike. Sorry, Rachel, what were you going to say?
Allison's going. Because she went.
She's chomping at the bit.
We're the same person. Ask us and we'll just say it at the same time, our exact identical theory.
Yeah, it'll be the same thing.
Right.
Rachel, you go this time. I went last time when we both said go.
I have an actual theory that I thought was happening before, and I know that it is wrong.
If this is the same as my theory, I'm going to scream.
There's no way it is, because yours is not Critical Role related.
Yes, it is.
Fuck off.
Wait,
Like,
message
God.
it.
Oh god.
Okay. Like, just look at me. Look at me with
send it
my
in the
eyeballs right now.
AK, write it down and then show us on the Discord.
right.
Really?
Like a magic trick.
Oh, we should go on a dating show, where it's like, how many socks does she wear? And it's like, 7. I said 7. Okay.
Oh shit.
So this is a little bit of like confirmation bias for me, right? Is that I think everything is about Critical Role, and I'm sorry. I really am sorry, but it's been a significant part of my life for a very long time. So Daggerheart, I have a lot of, think that some of the lore from Critical Role will find its way into Daggerheart. And so there is of course, absolutely. Guys, I've been on the tinfoil hat for a long time, and none of my friends believed me, and you can find evidence that I was right all along in the Discord. Anyway, so one of my things is that we know the concept of, and this is the Faint Divinities channel that I have a lot of lore around that in my own head too. I'm not going to go into that here. What I am going to talk about is, spoiler alerts for Critical Role a little bit. A lot. Lore. The gods left one of their planets, right? They left. And in that shrinking, they stopped existing in a lot of ways. I thought that potentially it was something related to either the deities of that area or to the Star Eater people things.
Okay.
Like, so I think that maybe yours is Ryloran.
No.
No, totally different. What's yours?
Mine it was very reminiscent. So I've been lucky enough to play in 2 Wild Mount campaigns, one with Rice, and another was kind of one of my first big campaigns starting in 2021. And we spent a lot of time in the north and a lot of time in the ruins of Aor. And so especially like the sessions where we were like literally getting to pluck memories out of the air.
That's
it had a
very
lot
good.
Of Aorian vibe. Like, so as soon as we kind of got in there, I was like, oh, did we like hop on some kind of teleportation key and didn't know it, and now we're in Aor? Like, did something crash land here from the heavens? Like, what, like, were these ley lines that we were experiencing with the first like interaction with the starry people? Like, that was where my brain went. So okay, not the same conspiracy theory,
Not
but
the same conspiracy
but
theory, yeah.
but both
Close
bolstered
enough.
in Critical Role.
Brains both good. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, someone definitely remind me after we get past like the fifth session and recap and everything. Someone remind and ask me a question about like what the true story of Aeon and Isone are.
Okay.
Because it's a very interesing one.
They're
at least when it
dating.
came up. Got me started.
It's the
Lannisters.
Lannisters from Game of Thrones.
Push a child. I was the child. Ah!
Yeah. So we kind of
Wait.
went through that space. Oh yeah, go.
Oh no, I forgot the word, but they push Bran out of the window.
Yeah.
Defibrillate.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, we all started sharing words with each other. Just random definitions and words. Defenestrate was one of these
Defenestrate.
words that AK shared.
Yep.
That only has one meaning.
It was just the one.
We shared a lot of words with each other. That is
Lannisters
where that
straight up
callback comes from.
defenestrated Bran.
My
Defenestrate is to
favorite
throw someone out the window. And I love that there is a word about that very specific act that doesn't mean anything else.
Bran.
Yeah.
Victim of defenestration.
My favorite thing, and it's because of Daniel's face right now, is that being the GM frequently feels like being the designated driver. You're like, I am able to party and have a good time and get drunk, but right now I am responsible for your lives. So I am going to explain to the audience why we are talking about Bran and defibrillate.
Defibrillation. Might need a defibrillation after defenestration. All right, we will move on.
Let's jump into session 5, the
Okay.
finale, the big bad boss fight. I have a couple questions here. So this is a big bad boss fight. This was a complete homebrew mixed with a bunch of stuff that I saw throughout the adversarial compendium. I don't know what it's called, the monster manuals part of the book. How did you feel going into this fight? And what were you imagining a combination of Aeon and Isone to Ione?
Very
What
briefly,
was
I would
your
like to
thought?
argue for adversary appendix, and now I'm done.
Ooh. Adversary appendix. I thought the big god statue was going to come to life and we were going to fight that. Mm-hmm. That's where I thought something about that was connected to the memories and the losing of them. I was like, oh, they're feeding the memories to this god. Or this statue is just a god. And is hungry for memories. Mm-hmm. That's where I thought the fight was going.
The curtain behind that was they were planning on using that god, which I will go into who exactly that god in my mind was and then became. Mm-hmm. They were planning on using that god to get back home. They
Spaceship.
were truly trying to get back home, but they were going to use the god and its energy to take this plane back home.
Interesting. So,
I thought,
were the memories being utilized to fuel this god? To transfer them home? Okay.
They're basically taking the memories as a source of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Bastards.
delete a memory.
Yeah. Which they're basically taking all the people that crash landed. Which I will say this is another piece that calls back all the way to session 1, with Rachel asking for a have I ever heard of this island? Like, that was a question I think you asked about when you guys had that moment where you ate, or where you were after like dinner, where Grick made the barbacoa.
delicious. I remember the
And,
barbacoa. I don't remember Borg, but I
not
remember
Borg.
food.
Barbacoa.
The barbacoa.
I don't forget food. Like,
But you asked a question about like, do I remember anything about this? And then you rolled fairly well, and then I asked you, it's like, describe to me a children's lullaby that would have reminded you on this island. And that kind of did like bring back to like this island, like bringing people and sucking them back in. It's like go somewhere. It's like it's like the song becoming a song of like something where where parents would tell their children like this song so that way they would drift off into sleep, but in reality the song comes from like people wanting to drift into this island. So like that poll became one of those like memories for sure. Or
what a beautiful sort of, like, way to fix whatever the fuck I did, Daniel. Like, ain't no way that I thought anything remotely as clever as that. You were like, wow, she's really doing it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Lullabies.
Have you ever been a child?
I'm gonna push back against that, Rachel, because I was like, I don't remember the specific lullaby, but I remember like you going through it, and I was like, damn, this is excellent. Like this is like I'm so glad Daniel didn't call on me for this, because this is way better than anything I could have come up with.
I don't remember there was a lullaby. Don't remember a lullaby at all.
You just described my feelings for most of the campaign, Seth. Every time y'all said anything, I'm like, I'm so glad they got that question. Yeah. Yes, good job. Good job with that.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I'm here to hit things. Don't ask me questions.
Don't ask me.
That is
well, actually, I'm going to ask you a question, Delia. My question to you is, you decided to take Aone on head on, which dropped you. What were your plans when you dropped? Like, there was like normal Daggerheart rules, you immediately go into like death move.
Yep.
But narratively, I felt like there was a moment to at least let the players react to what was going on beforehand.
Yep.
What were your thoughts had everything start to become unsuccessful? And everything?
We all know.
It was Blaze of Glory for sure. She was gonna.
How would you have done it?
Obviously, it would have it would have been like Mama's final crack, right? Like I would have like risked it for the biscuit with like sundered this, this axe, so it would serve no other, and absolutely decimate. Because the thing about Delia's build is she's a vengeance guardian, which when you think vengeance, you don't necessarily think Delia, right? Like she was this happy-go-lucky mischief maker until it got to battle time, and then she got real serious about that real quick. But her vengeance was around like karmic balance. So she's not going to be the first to swing, but like you come for her or those that she loves, you're out. Like lights out, you're done. And so there was not a doubt in my mind when I went down. I was like, this is it. She will risk it all to make sure that the other three walk out of here and continue to tell the tale.
Oh, man,
sorry,
that
guys.
Narration would have been so. That narration would have been so great. You
Sorry, we stole that moment from you.
I feel bad for stealing it, honestly.
The words of sundering Mama would have been one of those things where I feel like Mama would have like cracked open and like would have just enveloped, like you and Mama would have become like one. Yeah. And it would have almost been like you spawning like the same similar like 4 hands. Yeah. And like it would just been like axes like just chomping like at Aone, which I think would have been interesting because I think he had 5 hit points left. So even if you doubled, unless you tripled the max wound, he still would have been standing, which probably would have ended with like the remnants of like Delia just like just kind of burst, but then there's like almost like this pollen that falls on everybody, and it would have been one of those things like
that all three of you just rush in this like cinematic moment of like whatever was left, you all taking it down.
Some fairy dust.
I'm not at all upset, AJ. Like in my mind, like as that's happening, I'm like, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do. And part of it too was like knowing we were at the end, like I think I may have made different, decisions in like a full out campaign, but like this was an actual play for a YouTube channel. I was gonna give you guys a really juicy, but I don't feel robbed because as juicy as that story would have been, like the fact that the thing that like ultimately saved Delia was the thing she would have gladly died to save I think that's just as lovely and poignant. So I didn't feel like you took anything, so you don't have to worry about
But
that.
also, it was incredibly badass for you to just be like back and forth, hit
I got
vengeance,
it.
hit,
Yeah.
hit,
Yeah, that
and it was
was-
just back and forth between the two of you, which was just really sick to watch.
Yeah.
Delia and I didn't think anything of it. It was just another day at work.
Right.
Grick. Oh, AJ, you're not Grick. AJ. So,
Yes.
The bailiff then.
yeah, right. Like we will always be those people to each other.
Right.
Sorry, guys. So you really were the person who immediately grabbed her and put it in your conch shell or clam shell,
Yeah.
whatever.
Clam
it is,
shell, yeah.
not conch. Yeah. In your mind, will you? Because I didn't want to ask for a lot of clarification in the moment, because obviously we're in this heated little thing and everything. But I really wanted to see what it looked like in your mind's eye, because I swear I was seeing like a Russian inside of like a little steel box being like, pull him, the red, and because you were like digging through stuff. What did it
Yeah.
look like to you?
Yeah, a kind of, essentially. Like, okay, well, first off, like, in my head, I knew it wasn't going to work until Daniel said it could. Because, I mean, I know Daggerheart rules, and it's like, she's death's door. This is, like, this is just what Grick is going to do. Like, in my head, I was fully expecting for this not to work. But yeah, definitely just, like, I feel like it's almost like slow motion, and just, like, just grabbing anything. I mean, gunpowder, trying to cauterize wounds, any sort of health bomb. I'm just the messiest surgeon, just slapping things and just trying. Like, I mean, you probably see a few puffs of smoke. It's like, oh my god, is he lighting her on fire? It's like a little bit, kind of, yeah. Just what I know how. This is what I know. I know how to cauterize wounds and to bandage. So I was just in a frantic panic because, obviously Delia's being our beef, so it's like, dude, if she's going down, like, what the rest of us gonna do? So I was like, I need to do whatever I can to fix this. And like I said, I went into it really thinking as a player, like, I understand I'm wasting a turn, but this is what.
It was so good.
So.
I
Little
loved
buddy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Not a waste at
scapegoat's
all.
way, though, is everything about us is kind of like slapdash and, like held together
Yeah.
with a prayer and some duct tape,
Yeah,
but somehow it still
duct
works.
tape and glue.
The
Yeah.
power of friendship. This was like epitome of power of
Yeah.
friendship
Yep,
bullshit.
agree.
Like campaign. It was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for allowing that, GM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, always. I felt like, I think going through my mind, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense for Delia to take all this damage, drop to the ground, and there be absolutely no response from the party.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I need to break the rules a little bit here to give the player something, because they just watch Delia do a lot, but also to an extent just get destroyed. So it didn't make any narrative sense for there to just be this fickleness. Though, in another world, I thought the opposite, and I look at you all and I'm just like, Delia's dead. Now what?
There's the voice again. That's the one. Very dirty.
And what's funny is I've got to credit Dak, because I think in other like my first ever D&D player character that died, like I cried like for days, like would wake up in the middle of the night and sob because I died at the hands of Vecna, that punk. And like, but I was ready to face death because like the Daggerheart rules of it are so lovely. And I, as a player, always want to be growing. So there was like this part of me was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to face death. I'm going to stare down Lady Death and just take it.
So cool.
That felt exciting for me as a player, whereas in other games and other campaigns, I've been like, I don't want to die. That's so bad and boring. So another kudos for Daggerheart.
Yeah,
could've
it makes it
seen it
really
go.
feel like your death is meaningful.
Yeah.
Right? As
Yeah.
opposed to just something randomly happening. Like, I have a bit of control. Like, I don't just go down and try to roll death saves. I'm like, all right, if I'm going out, I'm taking this motherfucker with me if I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
like
did.
that.
It put me in the, like, what would Delia do? Like, Alice and the player wants Delia to go on and wants her to choose, like, to roll or to take a scar. But, like, no, Delia wouldn't do that. She would absolutely. If she
I
could
feel
become.
like-
Yeah.
I saw your face like when we were playing, because that's one of the things that you do when you're like when you're playing games with everyone, like you're watching how other people are reacting, and something about you kind of stoned up, and I really thought because I didn't know that Daniel was going to do that little switch, and so I really was confident you were about to blaze of glory, and that was when I kind of started lining up Kora going dark shit, because I was like, she's about to die and this is about to be some bullshit. I was very but I thought that was really fun. I really liked the way that Daniel did that too, because I've been in a campaign where I was a player. It's rare, but it has happened. and the GM swung on a person with a very overpowered character and killed her with no rebuttal at all, and it felt really bad, and it was like, yes, mechanically he can, that is true, but it felt really bad. And so I kind of liked, Daniel, that you gave that opportunity. I think we could have, like, AK certainly could have been like, no, I want to take my death move and see what happens. But I liked that you did that. And I think that Daggerheart is so flexible in that way, because it says specifically rulings over rules, and embrace the cinematic aspect of it. I thought it was brilliantly executed.
And the Delia was kind of asking for it. Like, she was up in her face. Daniel was very clear about the hits I was taking, about like what would, like, there was no point at which I was confused about potential consequences of my actions. And that's when death doesn't feel bad. What you described is when it's like, oh, wait, all of this, I go from, 87 hit points to 0. No.
Which was really close with Grick.
Yeah.
Facts. I did almost get one shot.
Yeah. Thank God for that build.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Grick, I'm sorry that you feel
Some of my favorite moment of campaign.
Did you just gaslight healing me? That was one of my favorite lines.
I'm curious.
You feel better, don't you?
The witty repartee, even when we're mortally wounded, never missed with this party.
That moment was incredible. I am curious, AJ, though, would Grick have gone out in a blaze of glory in that moment?
To take me out. He's like, fuck this.
I didn't even think about. I don't know. At that point, I didn't know, right?
I have to remind everyone that you can take a fucking scar in this game and it's fine. Take a scar. Take a scar.
Yes,
live on.
I ain't taking no scar.
Take a scar. Live on.
I would have to, man.
5 hope. You almost never cap out on hope anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's so funny.
That was very fun, man. Kora got not hurt at all. Y'all tanked the shit out of this campaign.
Yeah, with Guardians and Seraphs, you all did all I think Kora was very much the personality hire.
Yeah, it was cute for me. I was having a little day in the woods. It was like, I'm stressed because I have all these deliverables at the end of the day. Oh no, would you deal with that?
Yeah, it was the tanks and Chugsby.
Chugsby was murdering.
Shriek was doing, like, you were just sending Shriek.
I loved that though, because sometimes people forget their animal companion. It just,
that is me, though.
Never forgotten.
Yeah.
That is me. I 1,000% would forget any animal companion, and I knew going into this, I was like, all right, if I snarf snack, 100%. My little
that
ghost,
wasn't as much my fault as yours, though.
Well, I was like, all right, if I'm going to play a ranger with an animal companion, I have to remember this animal. Like, I was like, that is my goal for this game.
You killed it.
Not forget Shriek.
Which Cozy Cassie, by the way, who did all the art, did such a great job.
Yeah.
Of making everyone, but
so
also
good.
making Shriek involved with
Yes.
I was just about to say,
That
I'm
was
pretty
very
sure
helpful.
everyone had a moment with Shriek.
Yeah.
And that he just locked all of our brains in
Shriek,
together.
you're such a great goat. You get nothing.
I like that we all collectively voiced Shriek. Like,
Yeah.
When Shriek hit puberty.
I want to ask, one more
Oh, yeah,
question
yeah.
to Seth, real quick. Seth, what systems have you played? Just D&D 5e and Daggerheart, or others? Any?
I've
boy.
played others as well. Just finished.
Show her the
wrapped up.
shelf at some point, so.
I don't know your history at
This
all.
has a bunch of games on it, a bunch of RPGs.
Wow.
I just wrapped
Ooh,
up a
actually, real quick,
Blades in the Dark
before you-
game.
uh, Sorry, go ahead.
What?
I was gonna say something.
Wait, what were you gonna say?
Yeah,
I was gonna say I was gonna do another shameless plug, but go ahead, go.
Time for plug. Go plug.
Plug it.
You already interrupted everyone,
if
Daniel.
you do want to know a little bit more about every single person here, next week starts a new series called Duality, where each one of these people I will interview in a
Who's
series.
first?
AJ. AJ is going to be the next episode, the first in the episode, and then it'll go eventually. We'll see who goes next. But it's a series where I basically ask them to make a character. I ask them questions about their life, and then we roll hope and fear. And at the end, we get to play a one-on-one encounter of Daggerheart.
That's so
If you're
cute.
interested in
Daniel,
that, go
when
and watch
you
that.
came to me and told me this concept, I was like, that's badass. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
And then we recorded it. And I was like, oh my God, that is badass. I cannot love it. Like, a lot of times, like, things don't match up to what you think they're going to be. I already was in love with Duality from the elevator pitch. And, like, the experience of it was so cool. I can't wait. Is AJ going to do an episode with you, though? Because that's my deal
I'll
breaker.
eventually be up there.
What do you want with you?
Get there.
We'll all plug what we have upcoming this summer in our
Yes.
at the very end. So
I'll be there. I agree
So,
though with what AK was saying. It's such a cool concept. It made me think way too much about myself.
Dude, 100%. It was so. It was way
Anyways.
too therapeutic.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so we're at the end of the campaign. We normally, whenever we end a session off camera, we actually do a section that is fairly common in most campaigns, which is called Stars and Wishes. Now that the campaign is over, everyone, and very thematic for our type of campaign, doing Stars and Wishes. What was everyone's star moment, which essentially is your favorite moment of the campaign? And what is a wish that you wish to see for, maybe sometime whenever this group, aligns back up, maybe sometime in the future? Who wants to go first?
I got mine. Mine
Go for it.
are super easy. Mine is it has to be gaslight healing. I mean, that was the still. I think about that almost every day. That's my new Roman Empire. Is how do I gaslight people into healing? That was so funny. It's just so funny because it happened to me, and I was like, dude, this is the best thing I've ever experienced in tabletop. I love it.
Was so great.
Bards, yo.
It was great. My wish is to have like a search for Grog one shot, but search for Borg on this island. So like I think we'd all just come back and just something. I mean, who knows what could happen? I just imagine Borg being like just the leader of this island and you could be either just out for revenge. I don't know, whatever. Like I want to come back here and be like, we gotta go. You guys remember that guy? Like,
Or maybe
3
we'll
years
just come back
ago?
here to
What
vacation.
happened to him? Ooh, we should start a tiki bar
Scapegoat
here.
Con. Scapegoat Con.
Yeah, ScapeCon.
Yeah, it shouldn't eat our memories anymore, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't, right?
That's
Maybe.
half the fun. That's
Yeah,
just drinking.
we'll find out.
Scapegoat Con. Time
Love
I'll
it.
never
Scapegoat Con.
forget.
It's like what happened in Scapegoat Con stays at Scapegoat Con because it cannot actually physically leave.
Yep.
That's funny.
We'll never forget because we can't remember. I should work in marketing, huh?
She does. Like,
I'm gonna give my star. I think Grick's field medic was such a lovely in character moment of collecting Delia, putting her in the clam shell, and then you can kind of see the smoke rising and. But that like it was one of those that was like an instinct impulse, and then like really though went with the story, and then the way you described it in game and the thought you put into it was very lovely and meaningful. So that gets my star.
I will say, if I could, sorry, 1 second. I was literally on my way to go heal Delia before you took the last hit and then got rebutted or whatever. I imagine Grick was mid jump. Len just goes and Delia's coming down and with the catch. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
I know.
Yep.
I was already en route.
She was prepared.
Well, because you knew Delia wasn't gonna I think I was packing a healing potion, but she was just gonna keep on slugging. As for kind of like where she goes next, or what could be next, I came into I think we all kind of came in with these backstories that there were just too many other delicious things to like fully unravel. So just the very quick mention of her backstory is what made her a vengeance guardian is she had this connection with a fairy elder from where she grew up, Varel Thorn Whisperer, who had a very chaotic disappearance. Delia still doesn't know if she's alive, dead. And like that disappearance is kind of like what led her to adventuring and what like brought out the vengeance in terms of like serving karmic justice of like whoever ransacked her home and did this to her like must be brought to justice. So I think that I think Delia would try and gather her friends at some point to avenge that disappearance, find answers, and really bring her those who put Varel through harm, bring them to their end.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Love it.
My star, I think there were so many moments, but I think the one that sticks with me is like the transformation moment when we all said something about that we noticed had changed about a different character. I felt like that whole like all four of the transformations were just so fun and thoughtful, and I am just love picturing Chugsby with his silver fox eyebrows.
Yeah.
Just a turtle with like. So that's my star. I think I have another secret star. Is the Lannister moment that was just so hilarious. But that's a secret star. My wish. I think my wish. Oh man, I just had like 3 pop in my head at the same time, and now I don't know what any of them are.
Now they're gone.
Yeah, now they're all gone.
I used a fear. Sorry.
Yeah. Curse you stole my memories.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
I ended the campaign with 2 fear left, so I had to use it.
There you go. There you go.
I do wish for all of our characters to get their memories back somehow. I also really would love to know more about these 2 titans and their reconnection and sort of what their dynamic is and what that means for the world in which we move through. I think those are kind of the things that I'm still pondering.
Buzzing them out.
I am struggling so hard with this because I feel like it's a cop-out. Because the entire campaign was so good and so much fun. So I don't mean this in any kind of disrespect at all, that my favorite moment was at the very beginning. I think I had never played with any of you in any way. I haven't, not as player, not as GM, none of it. And so you never know. You just don't know. And I can play with a lot of tables. I really can. It's fine most of the time. But there was like just such a good synergy. Like as soon as we did it, from like, I could feel the tete-a-tete like immediately of like Seth calling out allegedly that there's a Titan there in the distance, like, and immediately I do remember like Grick was doing stuff with cannons, and I was like, oh, of course, because he's there. Oh yes, that's why, because Chugsby is the lookout, the clear eyes and everything. That makes so much, yeah. And then
Stats can't lose.
Yes, Daniel's playing off of everything that we were doing very well with the waves swirling in and everything, and then I like sometimes the role play is so good that my brain will tell me where I am, and I can almost like viscerally feel it. And there was that moment with Delia where we looked at each other, we were like, are we gonna do it?
We're doing it.
And it was a tag team roll, and we got up to the giant, and I can still like see, and it's my favorite part of tabletop RPG, and I'm not gonna cry, is like that you get to live lots of lives And like that, like I still have a memory of standing on a giant's shoulders, even though I wasn't there.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like hurts my feelings the way that makes me feel. So I guess that has to be my star because I think that was like such a pure tabletop moment for me, and I loved it so much. It was really good coming together. My wish would be that, I don't know, like, by the way, I've never done the Stars and Wishes, never done it before. Your campaign, it's very fun for me. I very much enjoy it. So I don't know if I do it right, but I'm going to say this one instead. I want to see like everybody from this group kind of like put their own stamp on Daggerheart lore in some ways, because I just think that would be so fun. Like, I would like to see one of the maps that they've done, Daniel get to say, oh, you see that little speck there? That's the island that they were on, you know? And I would like to like, get concepts from Seth on who are these deities? Are they just like Titans? Are they Faint Divinities? Because he introduced them into the world. And, you know, details around the family that Allison, that AK came from and everything. Where did Delia come from and everything? And Grick, where's he going? Ultimately, our little lost adventure. I just think that I would like to see where y'all take the lore so that I can follow along with the story forever and it can always be special to me. It's very long.
That's
That's
cool.
Yeah. And I guess, as we always have, I always end with my star.
Yeah.
My star, and, you know, Rachel already took the cop-out answer, so I can't do the cop-out answer.
Second.
So I'll do the second cop-out answer. Is my star is you all as players. This really was one of those things where, I mean, Rachel said it right off the bat. Like, everyone was just so in tune, and like everyone was so ready to collaborate. Everyone was so ready to tell a story, that it really was just one of those things that, like, it's one of those things where, AK, you said a little bit about with Duality and the series that, you know, people can watch next week, but it's one of those things where you have a vision, you hope that the vision comes through, and the vision came true. And that's one of the most fulfilling things for any one of us as content creators. I'm sure everyone feels that way. But anyone who's been a GM, anyone who's been a player that really felt like their GM was listening to them, like, it really felt like every box was like check marked. I'm playing the game I want to play, and I'm playing it with people that I really love to play with. So it's the cop-out answer. I will say my actual like moment star will go to something that I hate, but it's because my wife does it now all the time. The phrase of Rachel and Kora saying, it's like, don't make it dirty, and then AK goes like, you can make it dirty, and then my response and so I'm giving the star to myself, which is kind of an a-hole move, but it's fine. Which is the star of it's mud, it's very dirty. It's just like my wife plays that back to me, so I'll let you know, like, this is something that has now come from Gabe and now part of my real world life, because she thinks it's so funny. And I do too. But that was a moment that I remember when I posted that clip on socials and shorts, and I was like, I kept watching it back over and over again myself, just because I could not stop laughing.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who's been watching these clips over and over again.
Yeah.
That was the shorts. What are you doing? There's so many shorts to watch.
They're so short.
Look at them. They're less than a minute. I purposefully made it that way.
What are you doing, nerd? Go watch our shorts.
Nerd in a
Very
good way.
dirty.
We all are nerds.
Oh.
We want you to become just like us. So
Nerd in the best way.
Before we really kind of like get towards the end, I did want to ask, what questions do you have all as players to me as the GM? Because I wrote all the questions from me to you. What about from you to me?
We covered a lot of my questions just through the conversation. Honestly.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
Yeah.
was your idea for this actual campaign before we got our grubby mitts all over it? What was it gonna be?
Yes.
It's supposed to be pirates.
The idea of the campaign was shipwrecked on an island. Who are the survivors? Will they survive the island's deadly secrets, or will they become its next
Shut
victim?
the fuck up.
Those 4 lines described my campaign. The campaign trailer
What
and
was
theme
the
song.
deadly secret?
I had no clue at the time when I wrote it. I was going purely off of what everyone else was going to start inputting, as I kind of do for most of the campaigns. Like, sometimes I'll like come up with the big bad guy, but I had no big bad guy plan. I just felt like, okay, on this island, there's going to be something deadly. Let's figure this out together. And it really was, once again, as this kind of the background project of what this project was called was Content Creators Collaboration Project. So it really was meant to just be a collaborative campaign. And I did not have too many plans other than shipwrecked on an island. Who are the survivors?
That's crazy, my friend.
And yeah, you all came up with so many things that as soon as like every piece started filling, I was like, yes, we're taking that, we're doing that. And I definitely got lost around episode 4. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, they've said all like Rachel gave me star people. Seth said giant titan. We're on an island.
Seth, we're on the same wavelength.
I'm taking their memories. Where are these memories going? Like, they're very much was like me as a GM trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Okay.
You just confessed you created that problem.
So then the
You had
question,
nothing for us. We gave you stars.
No
You're
sympathy.
welcome.
then the question back for you, Daniel, is what was the moment then? Was it before the final session? Was it during the final session where you were like, oh my God, this is going to work. Like, this is going to
all
come
coming
together.
together.
And you realized like
Great
the
question.
Titan Brotherhood was going to
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
You son of a bitch, I did it. Like, did you have a moment of like, oh God, it's happening.
The beautiful mind moment.
I think so. The moment that I knew this campaign was going to be good was session 0, when everyone was swinging. Like, I was like, okay, this is a great group. I don't like this might not come out like as a great story. Who cares? This group is great. But I was like, I know it's going to be a great story. But I think the moment that I realized, like, okay, I think I know how this campaign's going to end, wasn't until like that same moment, session 4. Like, I remember talking to a coworker at work. It's like, I have no clue where the hell I'm going with this. Like, I verbally was like in our conference room at work, like just after a meeting, and we had like 1 hour left to work. It's like, I'm not getting any work done. I'm just gonna do D&D stuff or do Daggerheart stuff. And I looked at him and I was like, I have no clue where they're going. It's like, and I literally looked at him. It's like, do I just have them show up like shipwrecked on the island at the very end, like once they get out of the portal? It's like, no, that's just Lost. And it really was one of those things where I came to the conclusion and like finally found like the cross section as I was prepping for session 4, and I felt like, okay, I have to use the star people. And here's the other thing, that Titan thing didn't happen until Seth said something.
Yeah.
Until Seth's memory. Like, it really wasn't like I had no plans of the Titans being brothers until Seth's memory.
Oh my God.
I could tell that one was the GM. Just like sometimes your player gives you art and you're like, fuck yeah, you beautiful bastards. That's that shit where GMs are like, yes, I am so smart. It was always like
You played right into my hands.
yes, you see, the weave is so woven.
So I'm reminding myself again of like what happened in the story and like what I told one of you to remember, but now I'm remembering it. So here's what happened with Aeon and Isone and why they were doing this.
Right.
They were originally planning on they were star people that were traveling through space. That was their original like plan. They were migrating from one location to the other. Mm-hmm. Then this kind of large spaceship, so I think like Wall-E size spaceship, crashed. And so they crashed on this island. They lost like almost all of their people because they got caught in a comet storm. That's the other part that caused the crash. Okay. Which is where, Rachel, you saw those images of like all those people, which by the way, I also just thought about in the moment. Like, these are just things that like just I feel like just make sense. Like and so as they started crashing into the ground, there were not very many people left. And so they essentially had to figure out how to be free. And what happened was Aeon and Isone, who have just been general master manipulators of themselves, began to say, oh, we can do this. And then they started using their own people originally to start powering a device, which then eventually they brought the Titan of essentially the Titan of Sun to basically become their vessel, which angered the Storm Titan, which is why the Storm Titan was just like angry and like trying. The Storm Titan was actively looking for his brother. Which once again, the story unfolds as it happens. But they were essentially just using the Titan as a battery, the people's memories to fuel the battery, and they were really close. And had they taken, I think I was 3 memories off, because Isone was the one in charge of taking memories.
No, hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. You were counting? You were keeping count of the memories you were taking from us?
Didn't you tell us you had a clock? A countdown clock or something?
I didn't.
Oh,
no one noticed anything
that was
about where the Titan was going.
Seth just intuited that?
There were 3 things happening, and if it hit 3 more times, if I took 3 memories away from you, because I had the countdown, I had the countdown set already in session 3.
I want an abacus.
Like I had this idea of a battery in session 3 already, and so I had the countdown. And Rachel, you stopped 3 of those or 2 of those memories from being taken.
Thank God.
Saved
because it would have been even closer.
Spent 4 help.
The item.
Yeah.
All right, that's actually my star.
Item.
I forgot about that.
Oh, I loved
that
that.
moment was great.
Me and Chugsby were friends for real then.
Yeah.
It might have gotten even worse. So the Titan would likely have turned on you all, and you would have then had all this stuff to deal with, which would have just made AK or Delia going down really rough.
We would have been in trouble.
But Chugsby avoided so many of Isone's attacks.
Yeah.
So many. The most agile old man turtle.
I guess so. Yeah, you didn't. You rolled like a 5 on a couple of them,
I don't
right?
think you were
Something
ever.
like that.
I did not roll well on you, and I was
at
purposely attacking
4
you.
damage at the end of it.
Yeah.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I was
that's the highest
purposely
I got.
trying to attack you and Kora because I knew I could get past you.
Right.
Or I thought I could get past
thought.
You didn't touch me.
I thought I could.
I had
touch
friends.
Maybe I should have went after Kora, and it probably would have been.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch it. Yeah.
Don't touch me.
But yeah, so that essentially is the story, and then you finding the captain. The captain had always been shipwrecked on the island with you.
What?
Had the story gone maybe a little different, where you went looking for the captain, maybe it might have been different, but the captain was on the ship with you all. So at the end, the brothers reunited.
I feel like you kind of answered this before, but I need you to elaborate once more. Who is the old man? Who is the old senile man?
And it's not Borg.
It's not Borg.
So general headcanon now is like it's Borg, but
No.
Well, no. I mean, in my
Not allowed.
headcanon, that's
There's
what it
an
is. I
answer.
feel like I feel like the old man took portions. But the old man, and I feel like I like part of me doesn't want to say this because like I don't want to like ruin the magic of like who is this old man. But I will leave you with this: the old man does know Aeon, and Aeon does know the old man.
Yeah,
But
they're talking
no
shit
one
about each other.
rolled to ask if Aeon will like knew the old man. So he kind of just went to the end, and that never really got explored. I don't want to say what it is because I feel like the story for your all's enjoyment might be
No! No!
Ooh, can I make a guess?
Okay, make a guess. Make a guess. I want to see. Actually everyone make a guess, and I'll say if you get it right, then I'll tell you if you're right.
I think the old man was the captain of the ship that they were on when they got shipwrecked on the island.
Okay. Anybody else have a guess?
That's a damn good guess.
That's a really good guess. Yeah.
That is a very
I just want to
good guess.
let me just add my token onto that tracker because I agree with him.
I have a joke guess and a real guess. The joke guess is that he's the old dude from this quest for Grog that's in the desert planet that's like ridiculous, and he's like ho ho ho,
Bob?
like that guy.
Was it
Bob?
Bob?
It's
Yeah.
Bob. Yes. Yeah. It's Bob. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. My real guess is, and it's not going to be right because I know how GMs work. However, when the fire burned up the Star People, they had bodies briefly, and one of them looked like a member of the group of pirates that we had known previously, and the other one was unknown in my memory. And I thought maybe it was him. Not that I know who that is, just that I thought that was maybe him.
Okay. Anyone else? AJ, AK?
I truly that was the one that I was like, I can't figure this guy out. I don't understand anything he's saying. I don't know where he comes from, what he knows and what he doesn't know.
Who was that guy?
Was he
Captain's
just
a
some
good guess.
age-old druid that just lived in a
Yeah.
tree and wrong place, wrong time?
Either that or like the leader of the people. Maybe not the captain, but he was like a leader of the people who shipwrecked and was also fell victim to Aeon and whoever the other chick's name was.
I'll throw out an official guess. While you say that, I'm going to go in a different direction. I think he was the island's original inhabitant. I'm going to say he was not part of.
Oh, the only guy. Oh.
I'm not gonna lie, Seth. I really like your answer so much more than mine. Like that's such a good answer, and I really like it more.
Take it.
The only reason I say that it definitely isn't is because you saw the memories. Kora was zoomed into the memories of the individual.
That's right.
You know what? I don't think this will change anything. I think everyone will still get it. The old man was lying to you
I knew it. This little
because
sucker.
he lost his memories.
Yeah.
So he was lying to you not because he was telling you the truth because he honestly thought he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
But the reality is the old man is the one who leaves and who is the star person you saw.
Aha!
So the old man is the one who is collecting them, but it never got to that point. Like the old man was always intended to like not know what he's doing, and the old man was intentionally trying to get you into that chamber.
He's the
with
honeypot.
Aeon. He is the person who is trying
That's why
to
he
get
had
you
such
there.
good legs.
Which is why he was telling you, it's like, oh yeah, come to the center, and very much he did seems like believe so. The answer for that question would have had to have happened like you pressing Aeon more about the old man.
Okay.
That didn't become the story once you guys met him. But the old man just doesn't know.
What a rascal.
He could be both. He doesn't know, and he could be the captain. That I like that better than the Borg, the mythos.
Yeah.
Let's do
Because
some
Borg didn't exist.
BladeBound Saga Pocket Dimension crossover real quick.
Or it's
Lore
just
lore
Grick's
cross.
imaginary friend.
The old man is old Toby. We're gonna.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Ah, yes, old Toby.
Old Toby.
I don't know.
Old Toby.
I don't know who that is,
Old
but
Toby.
done.
You'll have to find out.
Toby.
Yeah.
Gotta find out.
All right.
Go
so
watch
everyone-
Pocket Dimension stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Gang, get over there. What are you doing? Go subscribe.
All right, everyone. We've been going for about an hour and a half. That does bring us to the end of our campaign wrap up. Hopefully, though, when Daggerheart post release and after all of our content, after we get through content summer and everything,
Hot content summer.
hot content summer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Claiming it now.
I do want to give you guys an opportunity to just share like what plans do you have during the summer, and then I'll plug our stuff at BladeBound last. So who would like to go first between the three of you?
I'll go first because I have like barely anything.
Go.
So, Daggerheart is releasing on May 20th, which you're watching this when that's already happened. Congratulations to you. I will, as I have been for a very long time, I'll be GMing with Darrington Press, as will a few others that you are seeing here. I've been doing it for a little while now, and it's one of my favorite things to see you guys there. Please come find me at conventions where Daggerheart is, because I will be there running games for you very professionally. But for channel stuff specifically, we're really just continuing our active campaign. I'm saying it here officially, we are like the first channel created specifically for Daggerheart. The Faint Divinities is a
100%.
name from the lore. And we've been doing it since open beta, so we are so excited to have the actual game and play it on our channel. And we're going to continue doing what we've done. We're going to play Daggerheart. We're going to talk about Daggerheart, and I hope that you are there to join us for the ride. Also, Spencer Stark and Rowan Hall watched the Faint Divinities. It's been confirmed in an interview. You're welcome.
Yay! That's amazing.
That's so cool.
All right, Seth, what about you?
Me, this summer, well, I have a beach trip planned. And no, I'm just kidding.
He's going to forget everything.
Yeah, I'm going to get stuck on an island. No, I'll be at Gen Con. I won't be running games, but I will be playing them. I'm going to be tagging along with the Pocket Dimension there. And I'm super excited for that. Otherwise, on my channel, I'm going to keep doing content. I'm going to start doing some more live streams where I just build terrain or do other random things.
As we
that I
harass
like to
and heckle
do.
you to say mustard in the comments.
Yes, mustard.
I clearly have
Wait,
not
what
been
is that?
on
It's
your
Alice
live
in Wonderland.
What?
It is Alice in Wonderland, yes.
Because echolalia.
Yes.
Oh.
Another word.
That's
Low
why.
drop.
That's why I know where it is from, because it says mustard. No, don't be silly.
Don't be silly.
I love this.
Or not that, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's my summer.
Okay, what's
Amazing.
TBD doing?
Lots of fun stuff over the Pocket Dimension. So I'm one of 4 over there, and we are lucky enough to have some really great peeps along for the ride, like Seth of All Trades, and hopefully maybe some of the other faces that you see along here. So we will definitely be doing some Daggerheart coverage. Like Faint Divinities, we were one of the first to put out some Daggerheart actual play content, hoping to do a little return where you guys can meet Seth's other amazing, adorable character named Dimple Muckmeyer. Maybe the best Gerblin ever.
And it's Dimple.
It's just the best. As well as more from our 2 podcasts, ADHD 20 and The Adventures of Bud and Herb, as well as starting to dip back into award-winning, as well as some other. We want to look at some other systems too, because Daggerheart's great, but we also love Shadow Dark. We want to visit Clock World from Tales from Elsewhere, DC 20, MCDM. All of the different things. We want to play it all. So we will be getting busy with that. And my wish for Gen Con, on top of just having a good time, I think we're going to have a Pocket Con at Gen Con. And I'm hoping, Rachel, tell me if this is going to happen. I really hope that there's at least one session where you, me, and Rice are all GMing in the same room.
There has to be. We can figure it out. We can figure it out. There's no way that it won't. I will be honest. There will be no reason for that to have happened by the end of it, because we will all immerse ourselves at our own tables. But we will have the spirit of friendship so strong.
That's also fair.
Oh no,
I
think that we're going to rotate GMs.
That will
around
actually
tables.
happen.
Well, I was going to say, I'm
tag out.
hop those tables.
I
We're
spent
gonna
the
hop
AJ and I
fear to
will.
give you Rachel.
I spent the fear to bring. Yes.
Characters in
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
table.
Yeah, it's going to be
That would be
chaos.
so
Oh,
collaborative.
I
man,
know.
AK,
that would
we
be
haven't
fun.
even talked about this yet. Okay, it's fine.
We've not talked about Gen
We'll
Con
be at
yet.
Gen Con, everyone.
We'll be at Gen
All
Con,
of us
that's
will
what I'm
be.
saying.
All at
I
Gen
want
Con.
you to walk into a room to play Daggerheart, and I want you to see these smiling faces there, and I want us all to be best friends. That's the takeaway
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
Please, please let us all be best friends.
It's all
right.
there.
Sing us
All
out,
right, AJ,
BladeBound Saga.
Yeah. AJ, you want to let us know what you know we're doing, and then if whatever you don't cover, I'll finish off.
Yeah, you can pick back up. I know we got videos coming out. We got
Yes, that's what we
so
got.
many videos.
Yes.
We got Duality coming out. That's going to be super exciting. Like you said, everyone here is going to be on it, plus a couple other friends. Plus, we do have the special episode of Daniel will be there eventually at some point. We're going to have quick builds. We're going to have character guides. We're going to be starting a Patreon that's going to have awesome...
It's live now.
Yeah, it's live now. I forget.
At the
time of
time of this
recording.
video,
Oh,
yeah.
I was about to go
Yeah.
look for it. Okay, I get it.
Well, yeah,
so
there's so
excited.
much stuff.
Talk about the fireman calendar.
The bane of my existence when it comes to TTRPGs because it's never consistent. I don't know what consistency is. so much content.
Yeah.
Daniel is working his tail off. I'm just here trying to help out as much as possible. Daniel is the real mastermind. And yeah, whatever I missed.
Are you BladeBound
please.
Saga's Kora? I'm just kidding.
Personality.
I was
No.
I'm 1/3 of BladeBound Saga. Daniel's the other 2/3.
Yeah.
He's
My
just
wife is
sorry
also
he hurt
the other
you.
third. So it's a whole it's a small team. But the only other things that we have, we're gonna be live streaming a lot more. So we have a campaign coming up. Me and AJ, along with 2 of our friends, we'll be live streaming a campaign every Tuesday or every Tuesday. Tuesday.
Sorry.
Scheduling the ultimate big bad
Tuesdays.
behind doors.
I sent you the dates.
I know you did. I thought they were Mondays. I don't know.
But we're gonna be live streaming every Tuesday, starting in sometime in June. I'll get those dates down below. In AJ once again is a firefighter, so he works so we'll be playing two weeks in a row, and then we'll have an off week. On those off weeks, I'll be live streaming just Daggerheart content as a whole. You'll also see me at the time of this recording, or at the time of this releasing. I'll be live streaming a lot, just going over the damn book because it's a big, thick book. So if you have nothing to do, subscribe so that way you can see all the stuff, just going over all the content in Daggerheart. But then I'll also be converting traditional monsters that were not added as adversaries into Daggerheart monsters, because homebrewing and converting those creatures has been a joy of mine. And that comes
Which,
from an
by
idea
the way,
from
that
another
has
channel.
also been on our to-do list for a while, so I sense some collaborations.
Yeah, we'll definitely see where we go. You'll see more of us on hopefully crossing each of our channels.
Yes, please.
The good kind of crossing streams.
Crossing streams, always.
Yep.
Once again, follow every single one of us on our respective flashpoints. Seth at Seth of All Trades, Rachel at The Faint Divinities, and AK at The Pocket Dimension.
Enter
and once
the
again,
Pocket
here
Dimension.
at BladeBound Saga. Don't forget
Enter the
to
pocket dimension.
Enter the Pocket Dimension.
Enter
Yes,
the
yes, yes, yes.
pocket.
Get in there. Get in the pocket dimension. Enter it.
Wow, we made it dirty, just like
Don't
mine.
make it dirty.
You can make it dirty.
What? It's very dirty.
Anyways, everyone,
Copy
thank
prepped.
you for watching this campaign wrap up. If you are just interested, once again, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you all hopefully very soon. With that being said, Scapegoat's Plunder is over, everyone.
Bye.
Oh!
Mama out.
From ink and steel, stories are forged. We are BladeBound Saga.